I love sweet God magnet. Lobsters and I don't you grab it.
Welcome to Lobster Magnets Review, the channel, the review of the Baruto the Movie. I'm here with my buddy Gorogregoro.
Hey.
So we are here. This is kind of like really late to the party. After seeing the terrible Baruto anime, I kind of dragged Greg to finally watching Baruto the Movie, which to me felt like it should have been the epilogue of the entire thing. That should have been the end.
Alright.
It was a nice way to cap off the series, but you know, the Baruto machine must. The Naruto machine cannot die. Kishimoto cannot just be allowed to Well, I'm sure Kishimoto doesn't do much anymore. I'm sure he just gets his royalties and he says, it's okay, it's fine.
In some similarities, it's kind of like maybe it's like the editors pushing the Bleach guy to make more content.
Someone's being pushed by someone, because the Baruto. I'm gonna make a video on this eventually, but the Baruto chronology is completely freaked out. It is a mess. It is a complete cluster freak of...
It is a big cluster freak.
It's a huge cluster freak. So, let me put this straight. So, this was the first piece of Baruto media, but this is, kind of the most recent piece. But then we also got the Baruto manga, which was retelling this story, but also, starts with a prelude that shows, in media res in the future, and then it's, taking place after this. Then there's the Baruto anime, which also features that same, teaser moment from the future, but then it goes back all the way back to the Ninja Academy days, and basically shows Baruto in his Ninja Academy before he becomes a Genin, like he is here. Then there's, of course, the Baruto spin-off movies, or spin-off manga, which, where it's the Mitsuki one-shot, which I actually kind of liked. Then there's a spin-off manga, I don't know when it takes place, where Sarada tries to figure out who her biological parents are, because she thinks that maybe Sakura isn't her mom, and that Sasuke, screwed someone else, and that's her thing, and she's, has an emotional crisis. I like a lot of the stuff in that manga, except for the end.
Okay, well, I didn't read that.
I keep on trying to tell you to read that. Someday you're going to read that, and maybe we'll do a review. But here we're about Baruto the movie. So this is a very big, interesting touchstone. I have a long history with Naruto. I want to make a video about that too. Because basically, I'm 30, we're both 31 years old. Yeah, I know, it's sad. We're not the 20-something schmucks making internet reviews, and we're trying to but we have an older perspective. Back in our day, I had to torrent Naruto when it came fresh from Japan.
We're young 30s. It's fine.
I don't know. I think there are certain milestones you want to hit on 30, and being in a desecrated room talking about anime for children. It's not necessarily one that most people have in terms of what they want to accomplish by the time they're 30. But you know what? I have a sense of humor about it. I'm self-deprecating.
Would you rather be doing this, or would you rather be Hokage and always busy and not available to your son?
Yes, I would love to be a Hokage with my own son of middle management at some sort of media company as a vice president, executive, something or another, working on a TV show.
That's essentially what Naruto was. He was just he fought so hard for this dream, and now he's suffering every single day trying to do it.
I do like that he's the George Bush of ninja presidents.
George Bush of ninja presidents. He's
not necessarily mentally capable of doing it, but he's trying his damnedest, and he's trying really hard, and he can't balance his family life, so he has to send that was one of the better scenes in the movie where they're doing a birthday for Baruto's little sister who looks like Hinata.
Oh yeah,
and then he has the Bushin clone, and the cake falls, and he's like, "Fuck you, Dad! Why can't you be here for Himawari's birthday?" And Hinata's he's very busy. He's got a lot to do in peace times. And Baruto, of course, is a little piece of shit. So what do you think of Baruto's characterization?
It makes sense as a rebellious teenager character, and he's very emulating of Naruto when he was younger.
He's kind of a little shit, though.
Yeah, he is. He is a little bit of a shit, but he just doesn't know any better.
Yeah.
He just doesn't know any better because no one's told him anything about what the past was and how hard Naruto fought.
Well, one thing I find very interesting that I really like that I think Kishi did well is I like the relationship between Baruto and Sasuke.
Yes.
Because in many ways it's kind of like Sasuke atoning for his sins of like being an asshole to Naruto earlier. So he's like, your dad was an idiot, but he tried more so than anyone else. And he's like kind of wistful and remembering it fondly. And he, now Sasuke's at this point where he's like this rogue.
Sasuke becomes like a surrogate father figure.
Well, he's also kind of a terrible father because he just like fucking abandons, poor Sarada.
Okay, so yeah, they're both kind of terrible fathers to their own children, but to the other children, they seem kind of nice.
Yeah.
Nicer.
I'm surprised Sarada doesn't have any more issues about the fact that her father's like taking interest in Baruto instead of her, given the fact that he like just spends his time like roaming the effing ninja world looking for like mythological ninja monstrosities to fight.
Well, is that what he does, really? It's
pretty much. He just like wanders around and he looks for ancient scrolls of cosmic BS, and it says like, there's Kaguya is gonna. Also, for the record, Kaguya is the stupidest, worst, dumbest thing to ever happen in the Naruto universe. I don't know what happened there. Maybe, like, the editorial department of Shonen Jump is like, come on, just give us another bad guy. We'll let you end at 700. That'd be so monumentous. We'll give you the full color spread so you can end it. You'll be,
what about
a legend.
A chakra tree? And, she's the mother of all chakra, and she wants to get all her chakra back, just like she wants to, reclaim the energy from all of her children, like suck her children inside her body so she can reclaim her former energy and glory and stuff.
It's funny, like, I remember I was looking at some videos of praising, like, the mythology of Naruto, and people, like, commenting on it, and, like, some people were critical and saying it's, like, the least interesting part of the series. Earlier, I might have disagreed. Now I kind of agree. Yeah. It's not particularly interesting. It's just sort of, like, was used to extend the series further. Like, and honestly, I think the perfect ending that I would have accepted, just like how Bleach would have had.
We talked about this before, I believe.
Did we?
When Toby, the Toby fight.
Yeah, it should have been at the end of the Toby fight. I will stand by that.
And then after the Toby fight, we have Naruto versus Sasuke.
Yeah, it should have been the end of the Toby fight. Then Naruto should have had been his conflict with Sasuke. Then series over. That's fine.
Yeah.
That would have been the perfect way to end it. It would have been I think Bleach would be remembered far more fondly if it was over after the Aizen arc.
Yeah.
I think people, that was a perfect close. He uses his final attack. He loses all of his powers. He goes back to the normal life he so desires.
But then we wouldn't have any of the Banto.
Oh, yeah. And then you mean the Fullbringers?
Yeah, that's what I mean. There's also Banto, though, in Bleach.
You know the funniest thing, though, is the Fullbringers, feel like it was his, excuse to justify Chad and Orihime's powers. A better excuse to justify their powers that he came up with later. Because originally it was like, Ichigo has so much spirit energy that it's just leaking off to them, and then they get random powers.
There's a lot of, continuity corrections with those
but,
extra powers.
The Banto makes 10 times more sense, the Fullbringer makes 10 times more sense in the sense that, Orihime has her ear, and everything has a soul, so her soul is those earrings.
Has his
the pride in his skin, so that's his Fullbringer soul power.
Which is, really, bullshit.
Whatever. I'll accept that more than they just, got powers from the original excuse, which was, they're near Ichigo, and they have Fullbringer powers.
But anyway,
we digress. Back to Baruto, the movie.
I thought this was a good epilogue. This was a good epilogue to the Naruto series in general, because Naruto is based on generational kind of stories, and how does the next generation play off the previous generation and the generation before that, and showing Naruto more grown up with his kids. And how his kids react to, what he built in this generation is interesting.
Yeah, I mean, for me, what a shonen manga really, hooks me in is when it sort of becomes something bigger than itself, than the current cast, when it becomes, a multi-generational saga.
Yes.
Back in the Leaf Crush arc, we got to see, Choji, Ino's family. We got to see a little bit more about the Hokages and how they have a legacy, and Orochimaru fighting to destroy that legacy. And then it becomes this, generation-spanning saga, and it feels like this epic Lord of the Rings kind of tale. And I think that's what, really grabs people in, and, makes them think that, Naruto is, something much more bigger and profound than maybe it is. But, it's that kind of storytelling that, I'm always a big sucker for, that I love to see. And, all the really great shonen series tend to have it. And, in many ways, this was like a good epilogue in terms of like seeing the next generation. We get to see their dynamic. I loved all the stuff with the Chunin exam. Like, that felt like, that actually felt like it had Kishimoto's involvement. He was like really involved in terms of like that cute little puzzle with like the ninja novel quiz, which is like, then they fall into a thing, but then they have to not be black.
Well, yeah, they fall into the ink pit, and so they can't get doused in ink. So otherwise, they would lose the test exam.
I like Sarada and Mitsuki are surprisingly good supporting characters that are probably, in my opinion, better than Baruto. There are other fun supporting characters like Choji's daughters. The whole "I do what I want. I don't care. I'm gonna be fat and do what I want."
Yeah, I feel like the other lesser characters didn't get much of.
The main crux is like Baruto and Naruto's relationship as well as Sasuke. I liked a lot of it, and the other thing I really liked was the whole ninja tool thing. I thought that was really interesting in terms of like, how does technology going to affect the world of ninjas? And originally Kishimoto said one of his like main operating principles of the Naruto universe was that like there would never be any guns, and his logic is like if you can just shoot somebody, then what's the point of ninja magic? Right. It makes it completely pointless. And I like the idea of like, these little devices and you can load scrolls in, and, it's something I wish was explored a little bit deeper, because like, I thought the whole like revelation is like, oh, it's just like cheating. And then the really dumb thing is when they relate it to like the stupid villain, and he's like, oh, I ate these pills and it makes me stronger. And then Baruto looks at his stupid like thing and realizes, oh, I'm not using my own powers. I'm no better than this jerk.
Yeah,
that I thought was stupid, and
to be fair, I think the villain isn't the main focus at all.
No,
for this kind of story, it's like a story to sort of, to look ahead into the future beyond Naruto and see like how his legacy impacts the universe, the whole Leaf Village universe, and all the ninja clans out in the future. How does it influence the whole world of Naruto?
And it gives a decent, we see the 5 cages, the new people who, like, the next generation who've taken over that. I think Gaara's or Kankuro's son's there somewhere in there, and for a few seconds.
Kankuro's son?
Yeah, it's either Gaara or Kankuro's son. There's like a new puppet guy who's either one of their children. I'm not quite sure who.
I thought that was Kankuro.
No, that's like he's different.
Huh.
Right. I'd like a good shonen villain. I don't know, man. Film Z gave us an interesting villain. And, you can tell he had, like, a little bit more thought put into him than just, like... the villain's purpose is just to give us, like, super-powered fight porn. But, like, I hate everything with the Kaguya myth so badly that, like...
It is pretty bad. It is pretty bad.
It is, like, the worst thing that happened to the Naruto series. It is, like, the worst point to end the series on. It is the most least interesting piece of mythology. It's stupid. I don't care about the Ukutsuki clan or anything about them. It's terrible, and I don't want anything to do with them. Like, I don't know, doesn't there be, like, an evil cage from, like, another village or
I wonder
anything?
Maybe you could link a Ukutsuki doll in the link description.
I don't even know if something like that exists. Like, is there anyone who, like...
who would even buy that?
Who would even buy that? Is there a Kaguya cosplayer? Show me in the comments below. I don't effing think there is. I don't think anyone cares. I don't think anyone's like, oh my god, I want to be Kaguya, the mother of all chakra, and I'm going to be Black Zetsu, the Aizen of the Naruto universe.
The Aizen? Is he?
Well, because, the Black Zetsu was manipulating everything just so Kaguya could come back.
That's not exactly like Aizen, though, because Aizen is, like, more selfish, and the Black Zetsu was, like...
The Black Zetsu was a retcon ass pull. Everyone knows it was a retcon ass pull.
He was, like, manipulating so he was working for somebody else.
It was stupid. It was dumb. I didn't like it.
Yeah,
I didn't like it.
Well,
I just hate I hate the villain, and I hate the fact. I mean, it gives you some good fight porn though, when like Naruto and Sasuke team up, and like Baruto's like, "Oh my god, this is what my dad's really capable of." He's like a fox energy mech monster.
Yeah, and that part was cool. Baruto doing the invisible Rasengan was pretty neat. I like that move. It's a nice little touch on the already established move in canon.
Yeah, I like that. The Rasengan that disappears and then blows up somewhere else.
Yeah.
And also, there's a nice emotional moment where, like, all of Naruto's chakra goes into Baruto. Didn't really make sense as to why that was the thing that defeats but, at that point, it was the emotionally cathartic moment to end the whole thing off of.
Yeah, it's like Naruto he's sort of showing, like, oh, I have faith in you, son, but not, like, in a strategic kind of way, like, oh, I'm just going to let you kill him off, because he's already basically dead.
Yeah. But, I enjoyed it. It was a good epilogue. It was definitely kind of, like, moving in the sense that, like, God, when did I start? I started, like, watching Baruto on a torrent back when I was in high school, when I was, like, 14 or 15 years old. I followed it all along. I brought
You
it
mean
to
Naruto?
Yeah, Naruto. I started watching Naruto in high school, like, when I was, like, maybe 15 or 16. When it was still coming out of Japan. The manga was, like, maybe 150, 180 chapters in. The anime had just kicked off. It was, like, just after the big Rock Lee fight, and people were going apeshit over that. And, it was cool. It was, like, your underground little thing that you get every week from your, like, illegal torrents. It made you feel like a little badass that you saw this cool thing that eventually grew into a global phenomenon. And then I carried with me, and I forced it upon everyone I could. Good old Greg, Scott. In some ways, it kind of makes me sad because it feels like the thing I loved so much. Like, the later parts, like, I can't think of anything in the second part that I liked as much as, like, something like the Rock Lee fight.
Yeah, the Rock Lee fight was very special. That was a huge special moment.
That was an all-timer moment. Oh, man.
Oh, I hear
yes, there's a little children, and
that's the next generation.
That's the next generation
of Leaf Ninja.
Yeah, and that's one thing that really makes me interested about Naruto is the fact that, like, you still see, like, kids, like, enjoying it and like reading it and like cosplaying as it. It's fascinating because, like, you'd think that they would only be like whatever the new hotness is, like Sword Art Online.
And it's always like the younger generation fighting against the older generation. There's always that battle, and kids always like to fight with adults.
Well, no, I think there's more to it. I think Kishimoto like spun some universal themes, and like when you do that and you connect on that level, that you create something that never really dies, and it just kind of keeps on perpetuating, and new people like grow into it, they experience it, and it never really fades, and in that way, that's the sort of like immortality that any creator hopes for, that they make something in any medium, whether it's something highbrow like Lars von Trier, or working in within like maybe something lowbrow like a summer blockbuster movie. That's like the ideal that you want, something that will always speak to someone at some point in time because its message is so universal. And for a part of his earlier run, Kishimoto managed to pull that off. Although it's funny though when you compare him to like his contemporary Oda, just like that Super Eye Patch Wolf video had. It's he did a good point of pointing out how like Kishimoto kind of like over time the grueling task of being a manga author kind of wore him down as art like decreased in quality, while Oda is like the freakish genius where it still feels like he still has the same enthusiasm drawing Luffy punching stuff now that he did when he was a 20-something guy.
Yeah. And that's kind of amazing because Oda is setting a standard that is almost completely impossible for any other manga artist.
Yeah, and it always, in some ways, it kind of makes me a little sad. Like it feels to me like the One Piece Funimation dub kind of like killed the fun, any chance of America getting like a good One Piece fandom. Like I think it's recovered and increased tremendously. I mean, all the Law cosplayers you see at any convention, but it never feels as rabid as like even the Naruto one, which still hasn't quite died out. You'll still see an Akatsuki cloak here and there.
Yeah, I think the 4Kids dub had a huge effect on it.
Like, for me, whenever I see someone, like, cosplaying as one of the admirals or Blackbeard, I'm like, yeah, you made my con!
Yeah. Well, I don't know. It's difficult because One Piece feels a little bit more cartoonish and, like, playful.
That's true. A lot of people are turned off.
On a surface level, I should say.
Yeah, that is true. Its art is, like, that's why a lot of people turns people off. And they like the sort of, like, presumed maturity from their cartoons, even though, Naruto has, like, plenty of non-mature moments.
Yeah, but there's, like, stuff about ninjas and sort of realistic, semi... Like, more based on realism than Oda's.
Yeah. The Naruto feel, like, I mean, later on when it becomes, like, everyone's, like, shooting ninja laser beams and, using mechs and monsters and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's so cute. He's just, like, hammering on it. Oh, I'd love to bring him in here, but we don't want to upset his mother.
Right.
So what was I saying? Naruto, like, I think that was the appeal. It felt a little bit more grounded than most other shonen versus One Piece, where, Luffy shrugs off bullets and cannon and nothing hurts him, and he's, like, invulnerable, virtually. Versus, Naruto gets scruffed up and bruised, and arms are broken. And, that kind of, like, helped sell it initially.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Yeah, it seems like on a surface level, something like Naruto makes more sense to sell than One Piece. It's just a little bit harder for One Piece for people who are just getting into One Piece to look past the surface level of it.
Yeah, oh man, I'd love to force One Piece down people's throats, but, like, one of the reasons I don't is, one, because it's, like, it's so effing long, and the other reason is that, like, it's very difficult to, like, get people, past that sort of, like, cartoonish sort of art style.
Yeah.
But, One Piece is kind of like, it's a weird mix of, like, imagine if Harry Potter was Mickey Mouse.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because in the sense that, like, the One Piece characters are, like, these sort of, like, immortal cartoon icons that they change a little bit, but not really that drastically from time to time. And, they always go on adventures and get into fun shenanigans. But, they also have that sense of progression and growth that, Harry Potter does. Because, it's an ongoing serialized narrative.
Yes. Overall, I like the Baruto movie.
So, what would you give it? We should wrap this up.
I give it a good. I give it a man. I was thinking about 9, but, like,
yeah.
I'd give it a. Yeah, I give it a 9. Sure.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think it does a lot of things right. I'd give it a 9, 8.59.
As self-contained wise, if this is just a self-contained thing, I'm just rating. I'll give it a 9, but not like the anime in general. Anime in general is very, very poor, very mediocre.
It's very fillerish, and God, the manga has this weird issue where they've got this, like, they love sexualizing Sarada and, like, turning her. I don't know why. Like, they have this, in the recent chapter, there was, like, that is, like, takes place after the movie. They have this scene where, like, she's, like, in her pajamas, like, training at night. She's like, yeah, I'm doing a good job. Then Baruto comes, and he doesn't do the PB thing. He just says, I'm going to be late for the mission. I got to take care of something. And it just has all these voyeuristic things of Sarada. I mean, it's kind of nice that, like, Baruto isn't, like, trying to peep on her, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, here's this, look at that Uchiha, prepubescent Uchiha woman, and isn't that sexy?
And
although I do like the idea of Sarada. I like the idea of we haven't really gotten, like, a super powerful female Uchiha, and people are going ape shit for the fact that there's, like, a female Super Saiyan in Dragon Ball Super.
Oh, is there?
Yeah. There's this girl called Caulifla because all the Saiyans are named after vegetables. So she's named after cauliflower.
They're all named after
yeah,
vegetables.
you know that Vegeta. I forget Vegeta. Nappa, like Nappa cabbage.
What about Goku?
Maybe not Goku, but all the other Saiyans are, like, named after vegetables. It's like their convention.
All right. Well, you gave it a 9 too. All right.
9 or 8.5. Like, the villain is the thing I hate the most, though. I mean, I can accept it as, like, an excuse to give fight porn, but, like, I just hate that so much. It's a stupid villain. Like there's nothing more boring than, like, the shonen, movie adaptation where they just have the most terrible, boring BS villains of all time. Like, it's not impossible. Oda showed it's possible to, like, make a decent one-off shonen villain with, like, the Z guy, the Admiral guy in One Piece film Z.
Yeah.
You just need to give him a little lore connections, give him a little bit of a motivation, a little tragic backstory, and that's all we need.
Sure. I mean, yeah. Yeah, I suppose the villain could have had a little bit of a more interesting backstory and not been connected with Kaguya at all.
Yeah, I think there's a million ways you could have done it, but you know, we got some good scenes. So all right, I think that covers our thoughts on Baruto the movie.
Yes.
Like, comment, subscribe. I'm gonna have some Baruto themed merchandise.
How about the Kaguya family's?
I'll see if I can
merchandise?
find some Kaguya themed thing over there. If not, I'll just find like a Baruto figurine. I don't know. Maybe I'll put something with Sarada. If I don't, it'll be either Sarada or Kaguya or something else. So click the link down below. Buy it or buy something else. You know, it helps me out, helps my channel. And eventually I'm going to include Amazon bounties. So, you know, thanks for watching the review. You know, love your appreciation and likes and comments and subscriptions. And look out for my more produced video essays.
All right, take it easy. I gotta play with my cousin.
You gotta love to be got it back, yeah. Love turns into time, you don't grab it.